Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. That's Schopenhauer's line, and it lands like a stone in the chest. You wake up, and before your feet hit the floor, the ache is already there. Maybe it's a dull heaviness behind your eyes, or a sharp pinch in your chest. Maybe it's just the sense that something's missing, and you can't name it. You wonder, why does life hurt so much? Why does every day feel like a test you never signed up for? Schopenhauer said, "Don't chase happiness. That's not the game. The real move is to reduce pain, to make life less unbearable." He saw it clearly. Most of our suffering comes from wanting too much, from believing we're owed something by the world. The more we expect, the more we ache when reality falls short. So what if you stopped expecting life to be easy? What if you stopped waiting for happiness to arrive and focused instead on making the pain lighter, step by step? Picture your life as a room. You can't change its size, but you can clear the clutter, open a window, let in some air. Schopenhauer offered two tools for this work: art and resignation. Art, because beauty, music, and stories can lift you, even if only for a moment. Resignation, because sometimes the only way out is to accept what you can't change and let go of the fight. He wasn't saying give up. He was saying, be honest. Don't lie to yourself about what you can control. Have you ever noticed how much pain comes from comparing yourself to others? From wanting what they have or fearing their judgment? Schopenhauer said, nearly half the troubles of life come from worrying about what others think. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped chasing their approval. But here's the twist. Pain isn't just out there. It's inside you, too. It's the voice that says you're not enough. The memory of every time you fell short. Schopenhauer believed, know yourself, inside out. If you know your strengths and weaknesses, if you use what you're naturally good at, you suffer less. So, what's the origin of your pain? Maybe it started young, maybe you learned early that life would not hand you what you wanted. Maybe you carry a wound that never healed. Carl Jung called this the inner child, the part of you that still aches for safety, for love, for things to be simple again. If that child is ignored, the pain grows. If you listen, if you care for that wounded part, something softens. But most of us don't listen. We run. We distract ourselves with noise, with work, with endless scrolling. We chase pleasure, but it slips through our fingers. Schopenhauer warned, pleasure is an illusion. It never lasts. The more you chase it, the more you suffer when it's gone. So, what's the trap? It's believing that if you just get the right job, the right relationship, the right body, the pain will stop. But it never does. The real conflict is inside. You're longing for more, fighting against the truth that life is hard and always will be. But there's a way through. Not out. Through. First, stop justifying your pain. Don't make excuses for why you're suffering. Don't blame the world or your past or other people. See it for what it is, a part of being alive. Second, start affirming your strengths. Find what you're good at, even if it's small. Build your days around those things. When you do what fits you, the pain shrinks. Third, choose your peace. Don't chase the highs that leave you empty. Don't let other people's opinions run your life. Set boundaries. Say no. Rest when you need to. Let go of what you can't control. Jung said, the shadow, the part of you you'd rather not see, must be faced, not denied. When you bring it into the light, it loses its power. So, what if you stopped running from your pain? What if you sat with it, learned from it, let it teach you where you're still holding on too tight? This is the awakening. Life is hard, but you don't have to make it harder. You can choose a simpler path. You can care for yourself even when the world doesn't. Write this down. I choose my peace over fear. Let it be your anchor. If this speaks to you, stay with me. We're in this together. Subscribe, share, or just breathe with me for a moment. Healing is a journey, not a race. Let's keep going. One step, one breath, one honest day at a time. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how pain seems to stick, while pleasure slips away almost unnoticed? Schopenhauer saw it too. He said, pleasure is fleeting, but pain is forceful and lasting. You might feel a moment of joy, a good meal, a laugh with a friend, but the sting of disappointment or loss, that lingers. Why is it that the world presses pain into us so deeply, while happiness is just a passing breeze? If you're listening, you know this already. Maybe you've tried to chase happiness, to outrun the ache. But Schopenhauer and even the old Buddhists would tell you, the chase is the trap. The more you run from pain, the more it finds you. It's like chasing your own shadow. Let's get real for a minute. The origin of this struggle, it's not just bad luck or a cruel world. It's the way we're wired. We want, we crave, we hope for things to go our way. But life doesn't care about our plans. The more we expect, the more we hurt when things fall apart. But here's a twist. Not all pain is the same. Jung said there's meaningless suffering, the kind that comes from denying, repressing, pretending we're fine when we're not. That's the pain that makes you anxious, restless, numb. It's the pain of running from yourself. But there's also meaningful suffering. That's the pain you face head on, the pain you listen to, learn from, and let change you. It's the difference between a wound that festers and a wound that heals. Jung called it the moral task of being human, to deal consciously with our pain, to let it teach us something real. So what's the conflict? You want relief, but you don't want to face the hard stuff. You want to feel better, but you keep reaching for quick fixes, scrolling, shopping, eating, anything to distract yourself. But Schopenhauer warns, pleasure is an illusion. The more you chase it, the emptier you feel when it's gone. And here's where the trap tightens. You compare yourself to others. You worry about what they think. You try to win their approval, to fit in, to be liked. But Schopenhauer says nearly half our troubles come from this anxiety. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped caring so much about other people's opinions. So what's the path forward? Here's where things shift. First, stop running from your pain. Don't repress it. Don't deny it. Let yourself feel it. That's how you turn meaningless suffering into meaningful growth. Jung said, the development of consciousness delivers us from suffering. When you face your pain, you become more resilient, more alive. Second, change your attitude. Schopenhauer said, the world is my representation. By changing how you see things, you change your reality. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. That's power. Third, focus on what's simple and real. Schopenhauer suggests, don't chase status or wealth or other people's respect. Instead, find pleasure in things that are easy to satisfy. Good food, honest work, a quiet moment. Build your life around what's within reach, not what's always out of grasp. And if you want a practical step, try this. Next time you feel pain, pause. Ask yourself, is this pain trying to tell me something? Listen, don't rush to fix it. Let it be your teacher. Write this down. I welcome my pain as a guide, not an enemy. If you're with me, stay close. This journey isn't about escaping life's pain. It's about learning how to live with it, to grow from it, to find peace in the middle of it all. Subscribe, share, or just breathe with me. We're learning together, one honest moment at a time. Let's look at another angle. Why do so many of us expect happiness and end up disappointed? Schopenhauer says it's because we're taught to believe life is meant to be enjoyed, especially when we're young. But reality rarely matches that hope. The more we chase pleasure, the more we find pain waiting in its place. He suggests a shift. Instead of aiming for endless happiness, aim to suffer less. That means letting go of the belief that you're owed joy or comfort and focusing on small ways to ease your struggles each day. Think about it. Most pain comes from two places: how you see yourself and how you see the world. If you're unrealistic about your abilities, or if you expect life to always be fair, you'll suffer more. Schopenhauer's advice? Know yourself deeply, use your strengths, accept your limits. Jung adds another insight. There's meaningless suffering, when you repress pain, deny it, or pretend it's not there. That only makes things worse. But when you face your pain honestly, let yourself feel it and learn from it, that's meaningful suffering. It can make you stronger, wiser, more resilient. So, how do you put this into practice? Stop expecting life to be easy or fair. Accept what is, and focus on what you can change. Start noticing your strengths and build your days around them. Choose simple pleasures that are easy to satisfy, instead of chasing what's always out of reach. Write this down. I let go of what I can't control and build peace from what I have. If this resonates, keep listening. Healing is a journey, and you're not alone. Let's talk about a different path, how your mind itself can become a source of relief or a trap of pain. Schopenhauer believed we don't see the world as it truly is. We see it as our minds represent it. Everything you experience is filtered through your own perceptions. So, if your mind is clouded by fear, anger, or longing, the world feels harsher than it really is. This is why two people can face the same setback. One is crushed, the other shrugs and moves on. It's not the event, but the story you tell yourself about it that shapes your suffering. Schopenhauer found wisdom in ancient teachings, Buddhism, the Upanishads. He noticed that pain is real and positive. It presses on us, while happiness is just the absence of that pain. So, instead of chasing pleasure, he said, focus on reducing pain. Accept that suffering is part of life, and you'll stop being shocked when it arrives. But how do you do this practically? First, know yourself inside out. If you're honest about your strengths and weaknesses, you can avoid situations that trigger unnecessary pain. Use your natural abilities, and you'll suffer less from constant reminders of your limits. Second, practice healthy indifference. Schopenhauer warns against caring too much about what others think or chasing status and wealth. These are hard to get and easy to lose, which means more suffering. Instead, focus on simple needs: food, rest, honest work, things that are easy to satisfy and bring real peace. Third, when pain comes, don't resist it blindly. Jung teaches that pain repeats until you recognize its message. Emotional suffering is a wake-up call, not a punishment. If you face your pain, listen to it, and let it guide you, you can turn suffering into personal growth. So, what's the commitment? Write this down. I choose to see pain as a teacher and peace as my daily practice. If this resonates, keep walking this path with me. Healing is about small, steady steps, learning to see, accept, and transform what hurts, one day at a time. Let's explore another powerful idea: the role of compassion for yourself and others in reducing life's pain. Schopenhauer believed that anything that suffers deserves compassion, including you. When you show yourself kindness instead of harsh judgment, some of the sharpness of pain softens. Think about it. When you're thirsty, water brings relief. When you're lonely, a friend's presence lightens the ache. But Schopenhauer warns that chasing every desire is a game you can't win. Relief is always brief, and new cravings always appear. So, what can you do instead? He points to a surprising source of comfort: losing yourself in aesthetic experience. That means letting art, music, or natural beauty absorb you so fully that for a while you forget your worries and desires. In those moments, pain fades, and you find a kind of peace that doesn't depend on getting what you want. Schopenhauer was admired by artists for this insight. He saw that beauty, music, and creativity could offer a real, if temporary, escape from suffering, a pause in the endless cycle of wanting and disappointment. Here's how you can use this in your life. Practice self-compassion. When pain hits, talk to yourself as you would to a friend. Don't add self-blame to your suffering. Seek out beauty. Spend time with art, music, or nature, not to escape reality, but to give your mind a break from constant striving. Offer compassion to others. Sometimes, helping someone else can lift your own pain, even if just for a moment. Write this down. I choose compassion as my shelter from suffering. If this idea speaks to you, stay connected. Every act of kindness toward yourself or someone else makes the pain of life a little lighter. You want the truth? Here it is. Life, at its core, is suffering. Schopenhauer didn't flinch from this reality. He stared it down, stripped of hope or illusion. He wrote, "Suffering is essential to life, therefore does not flow in upon us from outside, but everyone carries around within himself its perennial source. Pain isn't just something that happens to you, it's woven into what it means to be alive. Think about it. Every time you feel relief, every time you laugh or breathe easy, it's just a pause, a brief distance between one pain and the next. Happiness, Schopenhauer said, is not a lasting state. It's only a break, a momentary absence of pain. Life is not a balance between joy and suffering. Suffering is the rule. Happiness is the exception, a fleeting visitor between storms. It sounds dark, maybe even cruel. But what if facing this truth is the only way to stop being surprised by pain? What if the real agony comes from believing suffering is an accident, something that shouldn't be happening to you? Schopenhauer believed that suffering is not a mistake, it is the foundation. When you accept this, the sting of pain lessens, because you stop taking it so personally. There's a kind of freedom in this honesty. If you know pain is part of the deal, you can stop wasting energy fighting it or blaming yourself for it. You can start asking different questions, not why me, but how do I live with this? How do I make it lighter? But Schopenhauer didn't stop at personal suffering. He saw the world as a place of endless struggle. Wars, exploitation, cruelty, envy, injustice, hatred, and heartlessness. He asked, how could anyone call this the best of all possible worlds? He saw that we often congratulate ourselves for escaping pain that others couldn't, as if luck or timing was a reward. But the truth is, suffering is universal. No one escapes it for long. So what's the point? Is it all just darkness? Not quite. Schopenhauer's realism is a call to wisdom. He says, acknowledge the suffering at the heart of existence. Only by facing it can you learn how to live with it, and maybe even find a kind of peace. Jung takes this further with the idea of the shadow, the dark, hidden side of yourself you'd rather not see. The shadow is made up of everything you deny, repress, or refuse to acknowledge. It's the part of you that carries shame, anger, envy, and fear. Jung believed that to become whole, you have to descend into your own darkness, to meet your shadow face to face. This descent isn't easy. It's frightening, and it can feel like chaos or depression, a time when everything seems meaningless. But Jung insisted, every descent is followed by an ascent. If you have the courage to face your own darkness, you can integrate it and come out stronger, more honest, and more free. Here's how you can use this dark wisdom. Stop denying your pain. Don't pretend life is easier than it is. Acknowledge your suffering, and let it teach you what matters most. Start shadow work. Notice the parts of yourself you hide or reject. Bring them into the light, gently and honestly. This is how you become whole. Choose acceptance over resistance. When you stop fighting reality, you free up energy to care for yourself and others, even in the midst of pain. Write this down. I accept the darkness within and around me, and I choose to grow through it. If this resonates, stay with me. Facing the dark is not the end. It's the beginning of real freedom. Subscribe, share, or just breathe. We're walking this honest road together, one step at a time.